In the lush village of Nimo in Anambra State, nestled between farmlands and red earth roads, a little girl named Adaobi was born into both joy and tragedy. Her mother, Ifunanya, died shortly after childbirth, her final breath taken while cradling her baby in bloody arms. Her father, Mr. Okonkwo, was devastated. For years, he refused to remarry, choosing instead to raise his only daughter alone. His neighbors called him the gentle lion, a man of few words, with hands hardened by farm work and a heart softened by grief. He loved Adaobi with everything he had. For the first 8 years of her life, Adaobi grew up knowing only her father's affection and the dusty laughter of children in their compound. She was shy, quiet, and obedient, the kind of child who always offered visitors a stool before being asked. Life was simple. Hard, yes, but simple. But all of that changed the day Chinelo arrived. Mr. Okonkwo met her through a family introduction arranged by his sister in Enugu. She was beautiful, tall with caramel skin, and had a voice like silk soaked in honey. To everyone, she was perfect, well-mannered, God-fearing, and even called Adaobi my daughter in public. But behind closed doors, Chinelo wore a different face. At first, it was small things. She would give Adaobi the burnt part of the yam and serve herself and Mr. Okonkwo the softest pieces. She would make the girl sweep the compound 5 times, only to say it was still dirty. If Adaobi coughed during prayer or forgot to greet Chinelo first in the morning, she would receive a hard pinch under the table, always in places no one could see. When Mr. Okonkwo left for the farm, Chinelo's mask came off. She called Adaobi names, witch, ogbanch, ungrateful often. If the girl made even the smallest mistake, like forgetting to soak beans or dropping a spoon, Chinelo would beat her with a belt or make her kneel on broken melon seeds in the backyard under the sun. The girl never told her father. She tried once. She stammered, "Papa." Auntie said, but Chinelo had already taught her what silence meant. That night, after Okonkwo slept, Chinelo poured water over the sleeping Adaobi and pressed a hot spoon to her leg. "If you speak again," she whispered, "your father will bury you like your mother." From that day, Adaobi became quiet. She no longer laughed. Her skin darkened from sun exposure and her body thinned from hunger. Chinelo would give her old school uniforms that didn't fit, and often sent her to school with nothing but cold gari and no sugar. Her teachers noticed, but they assumed poverty, not cruelty. The worst incident came one afternoon when Adaobi, now 10, mistakenly broke a small ceramic cup Chinelo treasured. In a rage, Chinelo grabbed a bowl of pepper water she was preparing for soup and flung it directly into Adaobi's eyes. The child collapsed, screaming, clutching her face and rolling in agony on the ground. The neighbors came rushing. Women shouted. One elderly woman, Mama Ebo, stormed into the compound and grabbed Adaobi. Mr. Okonkwo was called back from the farm. When he saw his daughter wailing, eyes swollen shut, her school uniform soaked in tears and saliva, something broke inside him. At the Nimo General Hospital, the doctor examined Adaobi and turned to Mr. Okonkwo in fury. "This child could have gone blind. What sort of home do you people run?" It was only then Mr. Okonkwo began to connect the dots. All the excuses, all the bruises, the silence. That night, Chinelo tried to lie. "She's clumsy. That girl doesn't listen, she poured the pepper on herself," she claimed. But Mr. Okonkwo wasn't listening anymore. He knelt before his daughter's hospital bed, held her fragile hand, and whispered, "Forgive me. Forgive me for not seeing." Adaobi, with her eyes still wrapped in gauze, simply nodded. It was the first time in 2 years he'd seen her cry in his presence. The village elders were called. A community meeting was held. Other children came forward. One neighbor had heard beatings. Another once saw Chinelo kick Adaobi and laughed nervously about it. Chinelo denied everything, but the weight of truth had shifted. The Umana Council, a gathering of the male heads of the extended family, banished Chinelo from the family home. She left with curses on her lips and bitterness in her eyes. Adaobi stayed behind, quiet, scarred, but finally safe. In the months that followed, Mr. Okonkwo became both father and mother once again. He stopped working his farm full-time and took up a job in town just to stay closer. He walked Adaobi to school every morning, and began attending PTA meetings for the first time. Adaobi began to heal. She started smiling again. She joined her school's drama club and wrote a play about a girl with no voice who found her song again. At the year's end, her play won a local writing competition. At the award ceremony, Mr. Okonkwo cried openly as his daughter stood on the stage and said, "This story is for every child who was made to suffer in silence. You are not alone." The crowd clapped. But her father wept, not because of the applause, but because she had finally spoken. The Silence of Adaobi is not just a story, it is a reality for many children. May their voices find strength, and may those who heard them never find rest.